Duncan, so big test on Saturday against a recent Premiership team. I mean, apart from progressing in a National Cup, how much of an indicator of the level of the team could this be?
Obviously, they're playing up the divisions, and as you said, they're a ex-Premier League team, very good team, big strong team, undefeated in their league, only conceded 3 goals I think, so it's going to be a massive test for us. But one we're looking forward to, and we want to try and go as deep as we can in this cup.
Is a cup game a distraction at the moment with everything else going on? Something positive to focus on?
It's positive, yeah, it was something different. Obviously it's different from the league, isn't it? But it's a game that we want to win. We want to try and pick up wins as much as we can to try and get that momentum. Because of course then you can go into your next league game with a wee bit of confidence. But we know how tough it's going to be on their plastic pitch, but they're a very good team. But we think we're ready.
We're speaking to Charlie Gilmore there. I mean, have you been speaking to the lads about what's been going on off the pitch? Because obviously there's this kind of cloud there. Have you had to have a chat with the boys, or what you see?
A little bit. I spoke to them a little bit. Obviously the CEO spoke to them on Friday before the Arbroath game and filled them in the severity of the situation. So I think that was a bit of a shock to some of them, to be honest with you. But I've tried to talk to them here and there really, but I don't know too much about administration and if that's exactly what's going to happen.
Have they voiced any concerns to you about their futures? Are they a bit worried about it, or are you just trying to focus on the football?
We focus on the football, but of course it's very hard to not to listen to wee bits of what's going on, because obviously there's a lot of noise around about the club, and of course the players are worried, as all the staff are, as we all are as a staff and as a club. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but it looks like that seems to be the direction the club's going in.
I mean, you spoke the last time when you had a conference about the fact that you'd given up your wage to try and keep everything going. How unusual a situation is this for you in terms of your career? Have you ever come across anything like this before?
What, a manager giving up his wage?
Well, just the whole thing.
Working for free. I think it's happened before, isn't it? I think that the clubs have went into administration before. I've never went through it myself in my career, so it's a first for me. And it is very stressful for everybody who works at the club, for all the players, myself, my staff, the fans. So it's no easy, is it? But hopefully that doesn't come to that.
The distinction of trying to separate it between what's happening, us asking you all these questions, and then getting out there and doing the business on the pitch. How easy is that for the lads? You've got a lot of youngsters in your team as well, but is their enthusiasm, does that keep them going?
Yeah, and obviously that's what we do, that's our job. We like being on the training ground, don't we? And obviously the players love playing football, so it definitely gets you away for the noise off the field. So it's a wee bit of sanctuary out there on the training ground, and I have got a really young squad. But it's worrying times, isn't it? Let's just be honest about it. It's incredibly worrying times for everybody at the football club.
What's your team news going into this?
More or less where we've been. Charlie Riley's picked up, unfortunately, we think, as a small hamstring injury. So we brought him in only last week for Dundee, and he's reported he's going to have a scan tonight, I think, on that to see how bad it is. Other than that, well, obviously the lad, still got boys with the punctured lung and things like that. He's recovering. Wee Flynn, he's been back in training. Other than that, I think we're at full strength really. But Charlie obviously is a big blow for us.
Duncan, big game on Saturday. Obviously the league, you would be hoping to be getting better results. I'm just wondering if the cup is, like Nicola said, it's a distraction, but a chance to go out there and get a result.
Absolutely, it's a big scalp, isn't it, to go down there and to beat Livingston. I mean, obviously they play up in the division, they're the favourites for the match, but we hope for we're competitive and we can get a result there. The results in our league, unfortunately we've drew too many games. On Saturday we played really well, and I thought it was our best performance of the season, particularly in the first half. And we just can't seem to get it done at the moment. We just can't seem to stick the ball in the net. And that's really cost us as it's went on. As I said to you, we've only lost 2 games, and that was the second game on Saturday. So if it just turned 1 or 2 red draws into wins, you'd be sitting at the top of the table. So it's still very tight. It's still the season's only just started really. But you're right. We need to make sure we're picking up wins and doing much better than what we're doing. Because if administration does come, I believe it's something like 15 points can be deducted for your total. So we need to try and get accumulate as many points as we possibly can to see if we can try and recover for a 15-point deduction. We're not quite sure if it's possible.
Obviously we know all the goings on off the pitch. How hard is it for you to motivate your players and to sort of block out all that stuff that's going on?
No easy. Certainly on Friday, particularly, they were in a bit of a bad place on Friday before the Arbroath game. But no, we picked them up. We got them round in 24 hours for ready for the Arbroath game, because you've got to try and focus on the fact that, look, get out there, try and win some games. Get out there and things do look a wee bit better if you can win some games. And it's for their futures as well, because if they're playing well, people are looking at them, aren't they? To maybe move on to other clubs, for instance, because of course if administration comes, I think maybe some of the players would lose some of the players. I'm not quite sure, but we're football players. We want to be motivated. We want to win games at football, and that's what I try to do with them.
And what about yourself? We're talking about the players, but it must be incredibly stressful for you. We know that you've made this sacrifice. You're not taking a wage, and just a very stressful situation.
Yeah, it's no easy. Absolutely. It's been tough, but I think we're all in the same position, and everybody at the clubs is finding it tough at the moment. Not been easy for myself, but you just got to go, haven't you? Get out there and get on with it and try to deliver. That's what I try to do.
In terms of the future, obviously we don't know what's going to happen this time next week, but you'll be hoping that you're still here and that you're still leading the team regardless of what happens.
I hope that we're all still here. It's not about me, is it? Never been about me. I'm hoping that everybody is still here next week, but we know there's a big cloud hanging over us, isn't there? And if they don't come up with the money in time, I think it's inevitable that we're going to administration, then jobs will be lost.
But you would still hope that you would be here even if there is administration?
I think it's down to the administrator, isn't it? I think it's down to whatever they come in and they decide. It's nothing to do with me, is it? I've just got to get on with it until somebody tells me different. And I'll be in the same position as every other employee at this club, I would think.
Okay, thank you.
Just to pick up on that, Duncan, given that you're not working for a wage, you might be one of the ones that the administrator would be least interested in if he's trying to cut costs.
I've no idea. I've no idea what we'll do. As you're right, I'm not costing the club anything at the moment. But I don't know what they'll do, to be honest with you. I don't know if what the administrator does and how much jobs he cuts. Obviously I'm the manager and I'll be the same as everybody else. But we're hoping that doesn't happen. Let's try and focus. It's possible that might not happen. They come up with the money before noon next week.
Since Monday night's meeting, there's been obviously more and more talk about administration. That would mean, as you said, a 15-point penalty, which would leave you effectively 17 points of catch-up to get ahead of Annan. How big a task would that be?
Well, it's impossible, isn't it? I mean, nothing's impossible, I suppose. Maybe that's not the right thing, but look, if we get a 15-point deduction, and I'm not going to be staying in the division, are we? Unless we probably win every game and every other team lose every game, because of course they would win a game and they would win another game or a draw game before you know it. So it would be nearly an impossible task. One we would try to overcome, and we obviously would try our best to win games. But if a minister comes in and cuts the squad, which I think he would do, and we would have less players, I think it would be really a tough ask to stay in the division. And I think the 15-point deduction would more certainty to relegate us.
So you seem to be saying that if it's administration, then it's also relegation, almost certainly.
I think it's almost certain, isn't it? Unless we can win every game. And no, it's not. I suppose it's not impossible, but it's going to be a tough ask, isn't it? Let's be fair.
We're all getting distracted from the immediate. There's a lot going for this game as well, isn't there?
I think so, yeah. As I say, it's a tough match for us. We've got a good cup history as a club. We want to continue that. We want to try and get the next round, and of course, there's money to the club as well. if we get the victory and get in the next round and keep going in the cup. So that's important, isn't it? Every penny counts. And we want to win games because we want a momentum. We want to, obviously the league is the most important thing to us, because as I say to you, if the point deduction comes, we want to get as many points as we possibly can. But you know, obviously we want to do well in the cup as well. But we know it's going to be a tough game, don't we?
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
Thistle 6 games unbeaten against Livingston, Duncan, and 2 years ago 2 wins at Allenvale as well. We've won.
Good omen.
Yeah, that's it. So it shows that it can be done. I know it is a tough challenge, but you know, it's been done before.
It can be done. You know, we don't concede a lot of goals, do we? Don't score a lot, we don't concede a lot. They don't concede a lot of goals as well. So obviously they've scored a bit more as well. They're doing well in their league. I think they're the third in their league. They've not lost a game. They're at home. So yeah, it's going to be tough for us, but it's not impossible, is it? We can win down there, and that's what we're aiming to do. To go down there, win that game, and win the next game, and win every other game for now to the end of the season.
And what showed that our growth is, despite the pressures behind the scene, you would never know that. I said to you after our growth, the team played with a bit of freedom and creativity, which was great for you.
I think we've done well, to be honest. We've done really well against our growth, really well. I mean, we were dominant, weren't we, in the first half particularly, and we just couldn't put the ball in the net. And it's as simple as that. I think we're on the back end of another poor decision, or a couple of poor decisions with the referee, and I'm not going about it, but it was an absolute stonewall penalty 30 seconds into the game. The referee should have given the penalty. He never, the linesman never saw it for some, and he was right looking at it. The guy gets a yellow card, it's a penalty kick, you're 30 seconds into the game. It's a totally different outlook. But they never gave the penalty. I think we recovered from that. We played really well. As I say, I think it's the best we've played this season, and nobody would have complained if we were in 2 or 3 up at half time. Unfortunately, toughest thing in football is sticking in the net. And at the moment we just can't seem to get it done. But hopefully Saturday is another chance to get it done.
You talked about team news earlier, and you mentioned Flynn was on the way back, which is great to hear. How about, I think it was Keith that was long-term illness?
Keith had unless he'll be back in the squad, and he'll start on Saturday. I played in a wee bounce game against For's Mechanic the other day there, and we won 7-4 behind kind of closed doors, and Keith played 70 odd minutes, scored a goal, hit the bar. So yeah, he'll be in the contention. He'll probably start on the weekend.
You also talked about prize money obviously being a good thing for the club if you can get through this weekend. How much of a motivator is that for the players to do their bit with everything that's going on?
Yeah, it's one games at football, you're right. Yeah, and bring money in if we can. Get into the next round. It's good for us all, isn't it? If you win games, it gets us feeling a wee bit better about ourselves. If you win a couple of games, you know, and that's what we need to try and do for the club, for the fans especially.
All this off-field stuff's been going on for months now. Is this the toughest point for you as a manager in general, I guess, not even just at Thistle?
Yeah, because that's been tough, but obviously the result on Saturday was just compounded it, didn't it? Because we could have been sitting so much better in the league. So before you know the results don't go for us at the weekend, before you know you slide into the bottom of the league, when actually you could have been near the top. And to be fair, I think our performance deserved that. But it's been really tough, yeah, for myself, but it's been tough for the players as well. It's a tough period in the club's history. There's no getting away from that, but hopefully we can avoid administration. Of course then, because then we avoid a 15-point deduction, don't we? And that certainly gives us a much greater chance of staying in this division.